Hello, hello. In this question, we're told that a car is driven 225 kilometers west. So if we have our starting point, we're going to have some distance, I'll call it R1 is going to be 225 kilometers, and then 98 kilometers southwest. So that's 45 degrees south of west. So that's going to be in this direction. I'll call that R2, and it has a value of 98 kilometers. And that is at an angle that is truly southwest. So this angle here is going to be 45 degrees. And we're asked, what is the displacement of the car from the point of origin, both direction and magnitude? So if we start there and we just went in a straight line, that is going to be our resultant. I'll call it big R. And we want to figure out what that's going to be. In order to do this, we're going to go ahead and define some axes. I'm going to go a little unconventional here and say that to the left is positive x, then down is positive y. That's just going to make all our values positive, and it's going to be a little easier to work with. So we know that the resultant r is going to have some x component, and that x component is going to be the sum of the other x components. So it's going to be r1 plus r2, but just the x component of r2. So if I break this down into its two components, I have r2x, and here I have r2y. Well, r2x is going to be r2 times the cosine of that angle, 45 degrees. So with that in mind, I can go ahead and plug in my values. And I'll get that Rx is going to have a magnitude of 294 kilometers. We can do a similar thing for y. Well, in the y direction, R1 has no contributions. So it's just R2 in the y direction, which is going to be R2 times the sine of 45 degrees. Plug in those values there. And we'll get that has a magnitude of 69.3 kilometers. So now that we have the components, we can say that r is going to have a magnitude that is rx squared plus ry squared, and it's going to be at an angle of theta. That angle theta is going to be this angle here. And because this forms a full right triangle with that theta in there, I can say that theta, or the tangent of theta rather, is equal to the opposite component, which is going to be ry, divided by the adjacent component, which is going to be rx. So theta is going to be the arctangent of that ratio. And since I have all those values, I can go ahead and plug them in. And if I do that, I'm going to get that r has a magnitude of 302 kilometers, and that's going to be at an angle of 13.3 degrees. And now that is going to be an angle that is south of west. We do have to specify with relation to something what that angle is. So that will be how we do that question. Hope that made sense, and I hope that helped out.